Welcome back. We are now finding out that Cardano is attempting an ICP takeover, but it may not be in the way that you guys think, and we're going to be discussing it all in today's video. As you guys know, just recently, Internet Computer unveiled what they call Caffeine AI, which is the first fully on-chain from front-end to computation to back-end integration on blockchain, the first integration in the world to actually put AI fully on chain. And we saw this happening at their recent World Computer Summit, as the Internet Computer is also known as the World Computer. But now we're starting to see competitors coming along. And as I've explained for quite a long time on this channel, we are looking for the best possible investments, and we don't care whether it's with a coin that we like or dislike. We just want to make good investment choices in our portfolio. And one of the things that we talked about is understanding that some of these cryptos do have narratives, and they have specific kind of categories that they're trying to go for. Like Ethereum is going for decentralized finance and interconnectivity with individual other blockchains. XRP, for instance, is going for cross-border payments and becoming essentially kind of an institution within the traditional financial space and payment rails. They're not really focused on AI. They're not really focused on smart contracts or DeFi. They've really been focused on payment rails. And so if, the XRP army came out and said, oh, XRP is going to put AI on their blockchain, you would say, what? They don't even have interconnectivity with other blockchains through bridges or smart contracts or DeFi. So how are they going to do the quantum leap effectively to artificial intelligence? It's just not viable. And so what we've explained is this cycle, we really have not really had narratives. The only major narratives we've had is the AI sector in crypto, and also the meme coin fiasco and meme coins in crypto. And so a lot of these different projects, they're looking for narratives to chase, because in previous cycles, we had NFTs, we had DeFi, we had new tokens, we had, the beginning of 2024, it was made in the USA cryptos, and everybody was saying, oh, well, our crypto was made in the USA, our crypto was made in the USA. And so everybody was chasing narratives, trying to kind of find a category that they can jump on and ride the wave up. Well, this has not happened so far for any of the cryptos this cycle. And in today's video, we're going to be explaining how Cardano has attempted to do this with Internet Computer. Don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up. Also, hit that subscribe button. That way you never miss a new video. We upload every single day right here on the channel to bring you the latest happening in the financial world completely for free. Thumbs up are the only thing for free besides this video. Crypto is not free, so give the video a thumbs up. Now you may be saying, Cryptoviser, what are you talking about? What is Cardano trying to take over? Well, you could also call it copying, but it's this. This came out in the beginning of June 2025. Bitcoin ordinals can now be bridged to Cardano through BitVMX. The on-chain transaction between Bitcoin and Cardano was facilitated by BitVMX, an interoperability protocol built using the BitVM programming language. Now let's read a little bit further into this. Cardano continued to advance its credentials as a venue for Bitcoin DeFi, also known as Bitcoin Fi, facilitating a transfer of ordinals to its main net. The on-chain transaction between Bitcoin and Cardano was facilitated by BitVMX, an interoperability protocol using the Bit virtual machine computing paradigm. This transaction was unveiled by Input Output, the creator of the Layer 1 Cardano, at the Bitcoin 2025 conference. The bridge represents what they call a preview of what is to come, saying IO said in an emailed announcement, its ultimate aim is full integration between Bitcoin and Cardano, providing DeFi services for Bitcoin users and unlocking huge amounts of liquidity from value stored in Bitcoin. To this end, they developed a cardinal protocol, something of Cardano and ordinals, which harnesses BitVMX to assign Bitcoin native assets to addresses on Cardano. The Ordinals protocol is NFTs, FYI, and it was introduced in the start of 2023, enabling the inscription of data onto individual Satoshis, making them unique and traceable. In effect, this created a Bitcoin equivalent to NFTs. And so Cardano now can apparently mint NFTs on Bitcoin through the Cardano blockchain, which is, first of all, a breakthrough for Cardano because Cardano has not historically had any bridges to other ecosystems or interoperability. I mean, you can go to DeFi Llama and just look for yourself. All of their DeFi ecosystems are only compatible with Cardano or Cardano adjacent chains like Ergo or something like that. But they're not interconnected with the rest of crypto. So number one, this does show that Cardano can bridge, and for some reason they haven't to other blockchains, which is kind of odd. I don't understand why they haven't done it yet. I've been asking this question for years on this channel. And it just leads me to the point that if they wanted to, they would. They could, because we see they can. So if they wanted to, they would. If they wanted to bridge to Ethereum, Solana, USDC, Internet Computer, they would. But they don't. Why not? Anyway, back to the point of this video, right? This video is about what Cardano is doing. Now, Cardano is making this seem like this is the first actual bridge to Bitcoin from another chain, or the first, in a revolutionary DeFi ecosystem, but it's really not. Other ecosystems have already connected to Bitcoin DeFi, including the Internet Computer Protocol. Now, in this story, it says Charles Hoskinson claims Cardano's Bitcoin DeFi will eclipse Ethereum and Solana combined. Okay. We're gonna try to break this down because number one, guys, the only network that actually has real DeFi on Bitcoin, besides like wrapped Bitcoin and wrapped Ethereum, because these merge the Ethereum and Bitcoin ecosystems, but outside of that, the only one that can really do it in scale is the Internet Computer Protocol, period. End of discussion. And by the way, not only is Internet Computer the only one that can actually do it at scale and doing it at scale, but Cardano is attempting to copy Internet Computer and chase this narrative, right? We're going to go into all the data because I'm going to show you that Internet Computer is already doing this and is way, way, way ahead of where Cardano is. You know, I used to be more critical of Cardano trying to create, invent new technologies. Like instead of connecting to Ethereum through bridges, they just don't connect, right? And that doesn't make any sense. Like you connect through bridges. That's how you connect and interoperate with the rest of crypto. But they would say, no, we don't need to use that. We need to use this protocol that's on Cardano. So they want people to go to Cardano, get into that protocol, and then bridge to other chains instead of bridging from another chain to Cardano. That doesn't make any sense. But when we're talking about Bitcoin DeFi, Hoskinson's saying that they're going to have more Bitcoin DeFi than Ethereum and Solana combined. Okay, let's go to DeFi Llama for a quick second. Okay, Cardano has $311 million locked in DeFi, and this is basically, if you look in the terms of ADA, this has actually been declining since 2023. So we're now in a bull market, and the total DeFi is actually declining in Cardano. And by the way, it's not just the DeFi that's declining in Cardano. We've also noticed here on the channel that the stake has significantly decreased in Cardano, which is a huge indicator of selling. And this could be for many different reasons. I mean, we are in a bull market again. So we have ADA being removed from DeFi over the last couple of years. We've had the live stake on Cardano decreasing in the last couple of years. And by the way, not re-increasing. Like if it was just a price thing, it would have already been back to where it was or higher. But this actually shows a significant decline in the usage of Cardano over the course of time in multiple different metrics, both live stake, which shows people's participation in long-term usage and trust in the network, and also the DeFi. As I've showed you guys on Internet Computer, while people are saying, well, Internet Computer, is nonsense, it's not a real protocol, whatever, it's a scam. Meanwhile, we've had an increase of 50% in the last 2 years, 50% increase in 8-year staking on Internet Computer, and 43.5% of all the supply is currently staked. Okay, but the point here of this whole video, right, really the overarching point is that Internet Computer already does Bitcoin DeFi. and they do it better, and they've done it longer, and it's more scaled than what Cardano has done, one transaction of an NFT transfer from Bitcoin to Cardano, right? This technology was invented with the rest of the chains multiple years ago, and Cardano is just catching up now and saying they're going to outpace both Ethereum and Solana combined, not even individually, combined, which is complete nonsense. If you actually look at the data on chain, Fabio from Zero to Hero posted this on X from the Santiment feed, showing that internet computer development versus Ethereum development activity over the last few years has significantly increased. Now, what I want you guys to focus on is on this chart. This is, again, the development activity between Ethereum and Internet Computer. The blue line is Internet Computer's development activity, and the red line is Ethereum's development activity. What you can see is in the year 2022 into 2023, which was most of the bear market, we saw most of the development activity was coming from Ethereum. But then we saw a flip. Where did we see the flip? The beginning of 2024. The beginning of 2024 was after a major kind of move to the upside in the markets from September 2023 to into 2024. Internet Computer went from $3 to $20, right? And also at the beginning of 2024, we saw the first implementation and demonstration from Dfinity's Dominic, chief scientist, who basically showed us live on-chain AI, the first iteration ever in the history of blockchain, in the history of AI, in the history of the world. Internet Computer had live AI on-chain. And that was the first implementation over a year before I'm recording this video. Now you guys know, I just showed you. Dominic just unveiled Caffeine AI, which is basically a self-writing internet where you can actually go into Caffeine AI. It's like a chatbot, and you tell it what you want. Create a booking application, create a birthday party RSVP invitation system, create a web page to make people smile every day. These are some of the demos that he did live on stage at a conference in less than 30 minutes. He explained it, talked to the AI, and the AI created all three of these applications that we just talked about within 30 minutes. Do you understand what this means? And this is all being done on chain. Meanwhile, we have other ecosystems saying, oh, well, we moved an ordinal from one chain to another. And it's like, okay. Internet Computer already does that. Most other chains have done that years ago, right? This is revolutionary, what we're seeing here. It's truly unbelievable. And by the way, the Cardano ecosystem recently has also said that they're going to become the best AI or the biggest AI crypto of the ecosystem, and they haven't even started. Internet Computer is already there. Now, that does open a door, by the way, because Cardano can come and do what Hedera is doing, which is tapping in and utilizing the capabilities and the compute power of the Internet Computer Protocol to basically power Hedera's AI capabilities. And if they do that, Cardano, and because Cardano's not going to be able to run AI, they're just not. I mean, look at artificial superintelligence. They merged Ocean Protocol, Fetch AI, and Singularity Net, which was a Cardano adjacent chain. We're a year later after the merge to artificial superintelligence, the ASI Alliance, and there's no product, there's no technology, there's no demos, what have they been doing? Right? And so in my view, right, outside of Ethereum, outside of Bitcoin, really Internet Computer should be number 3, right? They have more technology and capabilities, and it's in line with where technology is going outside of the blockchain ecosystem, more than any other crypto out here, more than any other one. Anyway, back to what we were talking about, because I get sidetracked a lot on this channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed. That way you never miss a new video. We upload every single day. Thumbs up are free. Crypto is not. So make sure you guys give the video a free thumbs up. Thanks for the support. And so, yeah, at the beginning of 2024, we saw the first live demonstration of AI on chain. And that hit. I think it hit. I think they got a lot more attention than they thought they were going to get. And then what did we see? We started to see the development activity on Internet Computer increasing substantially, and then overtaking the development activity that Ethereum has been doing over the last 6 to 8 months or so. And it all paid off. It all paid off because now we have Caffeine AI. And the first iteration, by the way, there's going to be even more implementations and more technology and more capabilities that are going to be released and demoed, I would imagine, over the next, months and years to come. Meanwhile, meanwhile, we have other chains that are trying to say, oh no, we're gonna do Bitcoin DeFi better. Guys, internet computers already there. I mean, even if you just look at the chain fused, which is basically internet computers interoperability, right? Even if we just look at like USDC on internet computer, right now it's $2.4 million bridged. And this is through chain key cryptography. This is not even natively issued coins on the chain. Tether, just under $1 million as well. Bitcoin, 152 Bitcoin are, this is the 7-day volume. Sorry, I'm not looking at the total supply, which I should be looking at. The total supply for Bitcoin is 237 chain key Bitcoins. That means 237 Bitcoin are tied up in the ecosystem and bridged over to internet computer or Bitcoin, vice versa. So if we do 237 times $100,000, the approximate price of Bitcoin, it's about $24 million, right? But here's the deal, guys, with internet computers interoperability and DeFi on these other ecosystems. The whole idea of chain key cryptography is everything can be done within the internet computer. So their bridge is a bridge, but it's really because the internet computer, from my understanding at least, because the internet computer can compute, it's basic, like you can compute. So you can go create a wallet, go to another blockchain, talk to it, right? And because internet computer can compute, it's able to read and write on these other chains versus Ethereum or Cardano smart contracts, which are just binary things. Does Cryptoviser have, one ICP in his wallet? Yes. Okay, send the ICP to the other wallet to make payment. It's just binary things. But internet computer, because it can compute, it's able to read and write these other blockchains. This is why chain key cryptography or chain fusion is important as a technology, right? Previously, I would have said, no, they need to have bridges. But because internet computer is really not there for payments and not there to do what Ethereum and Solana and Cardano are doing from a base layer technology, they do need a different type of bridge. They need a bridge that will allow their AI capabilities, their AI products to interact with other blockchains in a different way. Maybe go to Ethereum and create a smart contract on Ethereum. Would a Cardano smart contract be able to go and create a smart contract on the other end and then change the parameters of that smart contract? Again, I'm an investor, not a coder or an engineer, so I don't know the answer to these questions. But just from my base understanding of this, I don't think that they can. That's why chain fusion is so important. And like I've said, I'm not a full 100%, bull on internet computer. I am very, very bullish on the ecosystem, but I do think that they do need some of these native features like natively issued USDC and natively issued Tether on their blockchains. I would imagine more of that will come as regulation comes because they are not based in the US, and I think that's probably the main core issue that's holding them back from USDC integration. Dfinity, which is the main developer behind internet computer. But anyway, the bottom line is like they do have connection to these other chains. And while it may not be as much or widely used as what we're seeing on Ethereum, this interoperability in DeFi is still more than what we're seeing on Cardano, because Cardano DeFi is just, their DEXs and, swap protocols. There's not really other, they have lending protocols, but these are still fairly low usage, and it's all internally because there's no connection to those other chains. So if you're an Ethereum developer, you can't really bridge over to Cardano, and that's a problem. Internet computer, you can through this chain key cryptography. Now, is it easy for an Ethereum developer to just bridge over to internet computer if they're in the Ethereum ecosystem and not in the internet computer ecosystem? I don't know. I'm not an engineer. So if you are an engineer, let me know down below. But the point of me saying this is to show you that internet computer already has this new type of bridging technology to other chains. They already have DeFi on Bitcoin. It's called Omnity. And we've covered Omnity in previous videos as well. Omnity ignites Bitcoin DeFi. Effectively, the Omnity Hub is fully on-chain Bitcoin interoperability stack on the internet computer. It's a trust minimized solution that connects Bitcoin with other layer 1s and layer 2s, supporting Bitcoin, runes, and BRC20 tokens. And obviously, runes are NFTs, right? So Cardano's cheering on, oh, well, we just did our first NFT transaction. It's like, okay, but internet computer is already there, right? Like they're already the main hub for Bitcoin DeFi. And Cardano's trying to take over, and maybe they will. Maybe they'll be successful at this. But right now, just one NFT transfer is not going to bring them, the success that internet computer is having with Bitcoin DeFi. But this is also a wake up call to the internet computer ecosystem that, their technology of having DeFi on Bitcoin, this is picking up as a narrative, and they have competition. And I believe that because internet computer is built differently than these other ecosystems and has more compute and power and capabilities, they should be going, like maybe Omnity goes to Cardano and says, integrate our technology with Cardano and you can have access to all of the stuff that we are doing already. And so this would not only benefit the internet computer ecosystem and Omnity, but it will also benefit Cardano. I don't know why these other ecosystems don't do this more, right? Like Hedera, what Hedera is doing with internet computer. They're saying, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We have other things that we're working on that we could be spending our money and energy doing when internet computer has already figured out this whole AI thing. So let's just tap into internet computer. Let's power our AI with internet computer. And this is going to benefit both ecosystems. This is like the smartest possible, easiest thing to do. And no ecosystems are doing it besides a few, like internet computer and Hedera. Anyway, so fully on-chain verification and relaying, minimize costs and latency, mature and reliable and persistent token fungibility. And then they have a Bitcoin native execution layer. The Runes Exchange Environment, or REE, is a decentralized execution layer that enables composable smart contracts for Bitcoin layer 1 without asset bridging. And again, this goes because internet computer doesn't need a bridge, because the network can read and write to the other chains. Cardano cannot do that. That's why they do need a bridge. And so here are the Omnity Hub statistics. I'm going to show you guys a little bit more in just a second, but total volume is $58 million. Total value locked is $34 million, and 24 hours, I don't know what that means, total tickets. So we'll just keep it moving. Anyway, the connected chains already, as you can see, Bitcoin, internet computer, this is Ethereum or the Runes ecosystem. Oh no, that's just Ethereum. BitLayer, don't even know what that is. Bitfinity, Solana, Core, Osmosis, Base, Sui, Dogecoin, and Toncoin. And this is powered by ICP Chain Fusion. Omnity leverages ICP Chain Key Cryptography, Bitcoin native integration, HTTPS outcalls, and the reverse gas model to enable fully on-chain interoperability and Bitcoin native programmability. Here's all the companies that are backing Omnity. Electric Capital, Digital Currency Group. Hello, Digital Currency Group. And then some of these other companies, don't know all of them here. But yeah, I mean, the more that we learn about internet computers, DeFi ecosystem, chain fusion ecosystem, staking ecosystem, community of developers around the world, fans of the protocol, I don't know. I get more and more bullish because it seems like the rest of crypto is still stuck in 2020 and 2017, and the value extraction days, I believe, are over. And so chasing narratives is no longer working, and just making announcements of announcements no longer works either. These worked in previous cycles, they did. But we are in a new cycle, and because Wall Street is involved in a lot of big money, they're looking at the core underlying technology. They're listening to analysts not like me, but people who are analyzed at these companies. People get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do what I do on this channel completely for free. And I do it because this is an investment journey, right? And a lot of these companies, they're looking at this whole investment journey and they're saying, okay, we have a much longer time horizon and we want to see what's going to work. And they're going to look at the technology. They're not going to look at the announcements or the community on X fighting back and forth about, well, you're an asshole. No, you're an asshole. No, you're an asshole. And it's like, who cares, right? All of that is just noise. It's literally all noise. And in previous cycles, I said, there's a lot of bots in the comments, there's a lot of fake accounts, and a lot of these ecosystems or the bots, they would say, no, we're not bots. And I'm like, no, you clearly are a bot, right? But all this hype stuff, none of it worked this cycle. None of it. Because all the chains that tried to hype their chain up, the price may have moved a little bit, but really where the movement is in the core technologies and the fundamentals. And so personally, I think that, we're seeing a lot of newer cryptos coming up like SWI and Hyperliquid that are getting a lot of the market cap like drain or suck from the rest of the ecosystem. We saw that with Solana as well. But these were the hype coins. The fundamental underlying technology is not really there. And so the money from Wall Street, the big money, that's what's moving the market this cycle. And so they're not going to move the market. They're not going to invest in something just because it's the hype and just because it's fun and cool. We see that even with the Bitcoin treasury companies. Like no major companies are buying Bitcoin. They may be buying it through ETFs or through other means or MicroStrategy, but they're not buying directly. And I think because they understand like there are a lot of risks involved and they need to really understand the core fundamental technology. And if they want to invest in the technology, they need to make sure that the technology can maybe be implemented in their business model as well. Not just as holding the coin, but maybe implementing smart contracts or DeFi into their core business. And so that's what I think we're going to see. And that's what I'm preparing my portfolio for. I just dropped my coffee. Hold on. I was about to take a drink of coffee and I had no coffee left and I dropped the cup. So moving on to some juice. Anyway, here's the deal. Cardano is attempting to take over this narrative about Bitcoin DeFi. But I want you guys to remember, Internet Computer is ahead, not just of Cardano, ahead of most of the crypto ecosystem. And they're going to see, in my view, and again, this is just my opinion, I could be wrong, so make sure you guys do your own research, right? But I believe that we're going to see rapid and sustained increase in the valuation of Internet Computer as the fundamentals is where Wall Street is focusing on, and a lot of these traders are going to realize that. A lot of people still, I'm about a week out since Caffeine AI was released to the world by Dominic and the team at Dfinity. 1 week. And there's still people in crypto that have no idea about any of this. They're still shilling ASI, an artificial superintelligence coin. And they're hearing about Cardano bridging one NFT from Bitcoin to Cardano. Nobody even uses NFTs anymore, right? Nobody's trading them. They haven't regained any of their value or the narrative because it's all about AI and it's all about the fundamentals. And Internet Computer did it. They have absolutely done it. And by the way, they're not done, but they're there. They are the only ones that are there. They're the only ones with this capability of AI on chain, with live compute on chain. Even think about Filecoin and storage and coins like that and crypto and blockchains. Filecoin got billions of dollars from institutional investment in Wall Street. They were at World Economic Forum year after year. And they still cannot do even a fraction of what Internet Computer is capable of. And so I'm not opposed to competing blockchains, creating competitive products like Cardano's doing here, like other ecosystems are doing with AI or DeFi or whatever. But we need to give credit where credit is due. And that Internet Computer has achieved effectively the impossible. Nobody thought it could be done. Even Dominic posted on his X page the other day that he sat down with a journalist last year who was like offended when he was like, no, you need to stop thinking about the way that blockchain was being done. We're doing something completely different. And this takes a lot for a lot of people. The Bitcoin maxis, they're never going to change their viewpoint on this. They're going to say, no, Bitcoin's number one. There can't be any others. And it's like, why? Why can't we have multiple chains? Why can't we have other technologies built out on blockchain? Why can it only be Bitcoin? Why can it only be just a payment processing and store of value? Why can't we have AI on chain? Why can't we have DeFi? Why can't we have interoperability? Why can't we have competitors to kind of help push and make things better? Why can't we have that? No, we can and we will, right? The Bitcoin maxis, they believe what they believe. Can't be mad at them for it. But if you open your mind a little bit more, you can see, whoa, I can do Bitcoin and I could do internet computer or DeFi or AI on chain or whatever as an investment, as a technology. And this took a while for me even, because the only thing that we thought of for interoperability was these bridges that Ethereum has and Solana has and Avalanche, all these other chains. They have these bridges that are just smart contracts, on either end that are communicating with each other. And following internet computer, you guys know I've gone through the full journey of internet computer is a rug pull to, whoa, internet computer was not a rug pull. It was FTX manipulating the price of internet computer protocol. And meanwhile, the Dfinity developers around the world have been working tirelessly for the last 4 years, and they have accomplished what no other chain has even come close to doing. And so if I didn't change my viewpoint on that, I would be failure as an investor, because whether I invest in it or not, that's a whole different story. But just at least saying, whoa, internet computer has proven themselves and the development of this ecosystem to be far beyond what I ever thought I would see. And I think far beyond what a lot of other ecosystems have done so far in just a very short period of time. And so we have to understand that and look and say, okay, maybe internet computer doesn't need bridges. Maybe the protocol is creating the new, safer, and more effective type of bridge, because a smart contract is just a binary kind of input-output type of situation where chain key cryptography allows one blockchain to fully interact, read and write on other blockchains. And so this allows internet computer to implement their AI to actually utilize crypto and payment systems from different areas of the blockchain. The same way where if you go to China or India, you convert your funds to another currency so that you can pay in that currency. But that doesn't mean that you're not from the United States. It just means that you're swapping out the currency. And the same thing in these blockchains, where you may have an AI that's transacts in Bitcoin. And so the internet computer needs to be able to interact with those wallets and be able to merge and bridge those from one chain to another. And so what they have done with chain key and chain fusion technology, they've been able to do that. And it took me a while to come around to it. And I think it's going to take a lot of institutional investors a little bit of a while to get that as well, because all they think about is, oh, wow, we have a bridge. They're not looking at, wait, what internet computer is creating is for the future. When AI is interacting with different blockchains, different systems, different AIs, they may interact in different currencies. An internet computer needs to be able to do that natively, not even through a bridge. Because imagine you have AIs interacting with smart contracts, and then the smart contract gets hacked, and then it affects 48,000 different AIs around the world. This could create havoc in crypto. And so that's kind of the way that I'm viewing this whole situation, right? Can Cardano overtake internet computer when it comes to transactions per second? Highly unlikely. Theoretical transactions per second? Highly unlikely. Total transactions? Highly unlikely. But that doesn't mean that Cardano cannot surpass internet computer when it comes to DeFi, and especially DeFi on Bitcoin. And so the ones to watch, at least in my view, is Omnity, because Omnity is one of the largest DeFi protocols in internet computer, if not the largest. And they're the largest Bitcoin DeFi provider in the world, from my understanding at least. And so $58 million bridged between Internet Computer and Bitcoin is huge. It's really huge. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Cardano will achieve a takeover, or will it not work? Let me know down below. I'll see you guys on the next video. Invest responsibly, do your own research, and as always, crypto on.